Today is a little different video because it's just going to be me sitting here talking. It might be boring. I'm going to try to keep it quick and snappy and jazzy and factual. But this is the story of how Bella was born. Yes, indeed. It is quite the saga. I even brought props to help the story. I have a script because I am extra. I've got some Starbucks in here and we're ready to go. Hopefully, this is my second time filming this, so hopefully it won't be as long as the first time because it was really long. Okay, let's get started. Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. I went in for an appointment, for my 39-week appointment. I was ready to have this girl. I actually called on Monday of this week in particular and was like, I want an induction. Now, give it to me now or I'm gonna go crazy. And they're like, oh, okay, all right, we'll get you one. We'll talk about it and we'll schedule it when you come in on Wednesday. And I was like, oh, all right. I expected to have to plead my case, but they were like, okay. I went on Wednesday and turned out that I didn't need an induction because I was 80% thin. So the barrier, I think it's the cervix, was 80% thinned out, which is good. Good, yes, because you want that to be thinned out at 100%. And then you want to be dilated to 10 centimeters, and that's when you are good to go. The light is green. You are ready. So I was 80% thinned out, but I was only 3 centimeters dilated, which is fine. I had been 2 centimeters for a while, and now I was just 3. The midwife, she did a membrane sweep, and that's to help get things started. Yeah, she takes your finger, swirls it around up there. I'm sure it's more medical, and off you go. And sometimes that helps induce labor, sometimes it doesn't. But she predicted I'd go into labor in 24 to 48 hours. I went back home. I watched some Disney movies. I watched Mamma Mia. I was dancing. I was moving. I was bouncing on my ball. Anything to get this girl out of me because I was over it. Done? No. Please get this thing out of me. The next day, nothing happened overnight. John went to work. I was at home by myself with the dogs. Well, dog. He only had one at that time. Watched Treasure Planet, really on the retro Disney kick while I was on my maternity leave. I was just hanging out. I had lunch. I wasn't feeling super hungry, which is unusual. I took a nap, and when I laid down for a nap, I couldn't feel Isabella kick me. She used to kick me down here on my left side, but I couldn't feel her. And I was like, So I waited for about an hour and did some timed kicks, to see how many times she kicked in a minute, I think. I don't remember anymore. So I was trying to, count how many kicks in what space of time, and I didn't feel anything. So I decided to call my OB. Ring, 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 answer machine. About lost my mind. I left a voicemail. Hey, this is Kendall. I can't feel my baby. What do I need to do? I called both the pregnant lady number and the non-pregnant lady number. And then I called scheduling to see if they could connect me with someone in the office, and it was just a nightmare. I couldn't reach anyone at my OB. So I did the next best thing. I called the hospital. And I didn't want to do this because I know they're busy. They're helping other women give birth. But if there was an emergency, I needed to talk to someone. So I called labor and delivery. And they're like, oh, we haven't heard anything from your doctor about you. And I'm like, I know. I can't get them to answer the phone. they were like, okay, come on in. They're probably like, this crazy lady. I called John, and he drove home from work. He threw me gently into the car and threw our suitcases and our pillows, and off we went into the darkness, but it was the afternoon. We got there and they had me do a non-stress test where they put the heartbeat monitor on my belly, and then they put the other one, I think it measures contractions, and they gave me this clicker, and I had to click it every single time I felt her moved for a certain amount of time. I think I clicked it twice, and after that they came back and they're like, well, ma'am, you probably can't feel your baby move because you're having contractions. And I said, oh, okay, I don't feel anything. Okay, I can do this. Yeah, I don't feel anything. So dumb looking back. I was like, all right. They're like, okay, we're gonna have you walk around the halls to see if you can dilate in like 2 more centimeters, and if so, we may admit you. So John and I, we did some power walking. I feel like it was for like 15 minutes, but I think it was more like an hour. And at the end, I could feel them, but they weren't like, they're just more like cramps you get when you get your period, which I know if any guys watching this, they're like, anyways. So then they strapped me back up, and they're like, and they checked my cervix, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna admit you. And that was about that time. It was 7 in the evening, so we got our room. Here is my room. Behind that curtain, the door there that goes to the bathroom, and that's baby things. All my monitors and stuff. This is room 7. It's a really nice room. I got changed into a lovely hotel gown. What if hotels gave out nightgowns? Maybe the fancy ones do, but this was not a hotel at all. This was a hospital, and they gave me one of those hospital gowns where your rear will flap in the wind. So they got me dressed, and they gave me all sorts of lovely tags. So they gave me this one. I think this is for blood, and the if they need it. And then they gave me this one, all sorts of these. John had to go get his ID taken, all sorts of things. Oh, so many things. I had to fill out this big stack of paperwork, because that's exactly what you want to do when you're about to give birth to a baby, is fill out paperwork. Actually, I didn't mind. It took my mind off of things. I believe they put me immediately on a clear liquid diet, which means I could have anything that I could see through. So like Jello and broths and Sprite. So I was having some of that stuff. Just kind of hanging out. Oh, they also put an IV site on my hand, which I much prefer than on my arm where a baby's head was going to rest. But it was also super annoying to have it in your hand because there's like a needle. I'm sure it wasn't that long, but it felt super long, and you just hung out with it. So as I was all bedazzled up and dressed in my finest, we're just kind of hanging out. We're waiting for everything to progress further. About 11 that night, they started me on Pitocin, which helps, I think it helps with your dilating. I'm honestly not sure, but it helps you move into labor quicker. They gave me the lowest dose because my body was actually doing a really super job doing what it needed to do. So awesome. We went to bed, tried to get some sleep. I was uncomfortable throughout the night. It was hard for me to sleep in the bed. The bed was plastic, and it made me sweat, and I was uncomfortable, of course, because I was having contractions. I didn't have any pain medicine. I didn't have any morphine or anything like that. I was going to be strong and wait as long as possible to have my epidural, which happened at 7 o'clock on Friday morning. I was like, I'm ready for that epidural. I'm not feeling good. So this lovely gentleman came, he did it. It wasn't super bad at all. They used a giant needle and they put it in the base of your spine. It's a very, very big needle. John didn't let me look, like, peek. He was like, I didn't even look myself. But the guy was super, super knowledgeable. He was very good. It was not a problem. It was a very light epidural because I could still feel my toes, but I couldn't get up and like walk around or go to the bathroom at that time. So they had to put a catheter in me, which, you know, that's what happens. Didn't hurt because I had an epidural. So it was lovely, wonderful. They gave me a lovely peanut ball and they had me like lay in different ways, like kind of contortionist to help me dilate more, and we did that for a couple of hours, try to take a nap for a couple of hours, eat a little bit for a couple of hours, not eat for hours, but you know, just kind of hung out until we were ready, which happened, let me see, around 2 to 2:30, they were finally ready for me to start pushing. And this is where it gets real. Everything up until then was not easy breezy, but it wasn't horrible. It wasn't terrible. It was what it was. But then I had to start pushing, and that's when my body and my brain decided to turn off. Well, my body didn't turn off. It kept going. Like, I couldn't stop the contractions, but my brain and my willpower just went boop, left the office, will not return anytime soon. So they really, really struggled with me for 3.5 hours. They struggled with me. They had me push every which way on my knee, on my arms and my knees, like my elbows and my knees, on the side. They had me, anything that they could do, they were trying to get me to do. I knew I was crying. I was begging John to have them give me a C-section, even though like Bella's head was showing, like there was no turning back. I would freak out and I would like completely zone out. Dexter, no! I would completely zone out, and it was hard, really hard. Finally, the attending physician said there is something that we can do to cut, and she was asking me if I wanted an episiotomy. She didn't even get it out of her mouth. I was like, yes, give me an episiotomy. She gave me the episiotomy. I pushed and out popped Bella. 3.5 hours later. Now I was like, I wish they had given it to me earlier, but I've been told by other physicians that like 3 hours is like typical for a first time mother to labor or to push, and I was like, that's insane. But they gave me Bella, they put her on my chest. They told John, well, they didn't tell him, they more like shoved a pair of scissors at him, and he said they felt like child scissors because when he was cutting the cord, it wasn't really like zip done. He was like, it took some like to get through it. It's very the umbilical cord is very fibrous. Anyways, it's not a quick snip and you're done. But he did that, and I believe they took Bella very quickly to put all of her little tags on. They're so cute. She had a bunch of little tags. Look at this little tag. This one, he's so cute, so small. She had all these tags on her. I don't even know what that one. She had one on every single limb. She was just super bedazzled up. Like I was bedazzled, but she was super bedazzled and all sorts of like things. And then they gave her this cute little hat. They put it right over her stinky cottage cheese head, and to keep her warm. And they gave her back to me, and I got to snuggle with my stinky, sticky baby. I mentioned stinky because she really was stinky, and it wasn't just because I was stinky, she was stinky too. And then I had to deliver my placenta, which was super easy compared to delivering this child that I just delivered. And then doctor was down there stitching me up. She's got like gauze and stuff going, patching me up, and then the nurse was over there like counting tools and gauzes, and I just had these flashbacks to every medical show I watched, and like, oh, they left a sponge in there, and so they're counting to make sure they have all of them, and they did. Don't worry, I was fine. And John said, the doctor did ask if I wanted to see my placenta. She's like, it's so beautiful that your body grew this. She's like, well, the baby grew it. I'm like, well, then the baby can look at it because I don't want to see it. So everything was fine there. She was concerned about me bleeding, so she gave me a shot of Hemabate. If you ever have a doctor want to give you that, if you can avoid it at all possible, do. Because one of the side effects is diarrhea, but it's not a side effect, it is a guarantee. And the nurses tried to tell the doctor that I didn't need it, but I got it anyways. And then those poor nurses had to clean up the inevitable, and I felt so sorry for them, but my epidural was still wearing off, so there was nothing I could do. I couldn't run to the bathroom. So after that, after they clean up they were cleaning up the floor, because even though they had like this tarp essentially underneath me, there was still stuff everywhere. So they everyone came, and there was like a ton of people in my room during and after the birth. And then finally things got settled down. I was able to nurse Bella a little bit, and then they got her wrapped up and put into her little cradle thing, and we got a moment to breathe, and I got to hang out while the epidural wore off, and then I was finally able to get up I say an hour or two later to use the restroom. And they taught me like post-birth care to make sure I didn't get any infections and anything like that. Throughout the night, Isabella was really good. She slept really well. We actually had trouble waking her up, so I would hand express, and then I got a pump to help, and then I would feed her with a syringe because she just would not wake up. She just wanted to sleep all the time. We didn't get a lot of rest because they were coming in, the nursing staff at all hours. They were like pushing on my stomach because they want to make sure you don't have blood clots. They want to make sure everything's like firming up after, because after I had Bella, like my stomach was like a waterbed, like bloop, 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 bloop. It was like I had zero muscles there. It was like, even dough, I feel like, has more resistance. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't solid. So they checked that and everything, and they check your vitals, and then they check baby's vitals. I did get up and change at like 3 a.m. and change her first diaper, and it was that black tarry stuff, and it was so hard to get off. Let me tell you, it was super, super hard, and I was trying to do it without waking John, so I didn't want to turn on too many lights, so I'm like trying to get this baby's bum, and it was really hard. And so that was Friday. Saturday, we finally got to give her a bath. She smelled so ferocious. It was just stinky winky. So we were able to give her a bath and then put her in her little jammies. It was so cute, and I was able to feed her some more, and we just kind of hung out. They wanted to keep me 24 hours, but since I had her in the evening at like 5, they kept me another night because they didn't want to discharge me on Saturday evening at 5. I guess, I don't know why. Hospitals, I don't know, makes no sense. So Sunday morning, they're like, oh, we are finally going to discharge you. And we're like, great, awesome. The hospital isn't as restful as they say it is. Actually, it's not. I don't think anyone says the hospital is restful. It wasn't. So finally, the pediatrician discharged Bella. The doctor discharged me. We went home at around 2. And then we came home with this this baby. And I remember bringing her home and laying her in her big crib, in the crib, and she just looked so small in this giant crib. And then I just remember John and I sitting on the couch going like, okay, what do we do now? We didn't really, it was weird because we're like, okay, we have a baby now. But then we're like, okay. So overall, it was I'm gonna say interesting, process, and I'm sure I missed some things. Oh wait, I have to show you her little feet. Look at her feet. Ew, so cute. Yeah, anyways, those are her feet. Her cute little stinky feet. So, remember, don't panic, but do push. Bye. Love ya.